on YouTube? My name is Dylan, aka Diliano, and welcome back to the channel, Everything Diliano. Today, guys, I woke up and I was like, I think it's time we do this MCU tier ranking. So I have found this template. Now, everything here seems very accurate, minus like all the X-Men movies that we have down here. I'm not going to count those. I'm not going to count New Mutants, Runaways, and Humans. Agents of Shield, Agent Carter, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage. Where's the Punisher? I swear I saw it. Regardless, I'm not going to count the Netflix shows besides Daredevil because out of all of them, we've literally only seen Daredevil pop up again. I don't even think I'm going to count Morbius because that's we're not going to. Yeah, no, we're just not going to count Morbius. No Iron Fist. We'll leave Daredevil. We'll leave Deadpool because we know he's coming to the MCU. Like that's a known fact. Um, I don't believe they have the Tobey or Andrew Spider-Mans either, which kind of sucks. But they do have the Venoms. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna try. I'm gonna try and do this fast. You know me. I love this stuff so much. I've been waiting to do this. I was gonna wait until She-Hulk, and then I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just send this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk a little bit about the movie or show or whatever, and then I will rank it. Um, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my S tier movies out of the way, and then we'll go alphabetical from there. All right. So number one, number one S tier movie, Infinity War, hands down. I will never forget the feeling I had. Me and TJ went to go see this in the movies. I will never, ever, ever forget the feeling I had walking out of that theater, a silent theater, mind you, not knowing what the heck just happened because you're so used to the Avengers winning or the hero winning, and this movie the main character was Thanos, which just blows my mind every time I think about it. But not only that, the movie was just fantastic front to back. Like people will say, "Oh, why isn't Endgame there?" Dude, you can't have Endgame without Infinity War, and I stand by that. Regardless, that's my number one movie, number one MCU movie all time. S tier for sure. Next S tier movie we got bias, whatever. Spider-Man No Way Home was amazing. Listen, I'm a Spider-Man fanboy. He is my all-time favorite hero. This movie did the impossible. It brought back Toby, it brought back Andrew, and they meshed. It's not like they were just thrown in and it was like, this is weird. Everything worked. Everything was great. The payoffs were great. They paid off for Andrew. Not so much Toby, but he's amazing. He started it all. He was my childhood Spider-Man, So, like this movie was incredible, and at the end, what happens when everyone forgets who Peter Parker is and he moves into the apartment and then he's on his own? That's Spider-Man for you. Okay? That is Spider-Man for you. Now, next, Winter Soldier. This was my number 1 for the longest time. And like honestly, these 3 right here shuffle all the time, but mostly Winter Soldier and No Way Home. Like they will swap depending on what I watched last because Winter Soldier was just such a different vibe when it came out. It's a spy thriller, like it's a mystery spy thriller. You're the whole time you're like, who's this Winter Soldier? Blah 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 blah. It's Sebastian Stan. It's Bucky. It's Cap's best friend from 1942. You know what I mean? He's still alive. It's mind blowing. You're like, oh shit, and then like you're introduced to Sam Wilson. I love Sam. Like he's one of my top characters for sure. Maybe down the road we'll do a character tier list, but that's for another day. Winter Soldier's an amazing movie. Just 9 out of 10 for me. S tier for sure. The last S tier movie, Ragnarok. These are the only 4 I'm putting in S tier. Ragnarok speaks for itself. Fantastic third Thor film. Funny, Didn't overdo the humor. Story was a banger. Villain was a banger. Everything about that movie is just incredible. Like if that movie comes on TV, I'm putting it on. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those movies where you just can't get enough of. It's hilarious. It's great. Not much more I can say about Thor Ragnarok. A lot of people love that movie. All right. So now, what are we gonna do? We're gonna go. It's just going alphabetical. All right. And by the way, there should have been a. I wish there was another. I wish there was another tier. Can we? Yeah. I wish there was another tier because then I wouldn't feel so bad putting stuff in C. You know what? I'm not even gonna. I just won't rank the stuff I haven't seen, and by haven't seen, I mean like not. I probably just haven't seen Inhumans, Runaways, New Mutants, and Jessica Jones and Agent Carter. So we're just gonna change this to D, just to make everything a little smoother. You know what I mean? So Ant Man and the Wasp going in alphabetical order. Listen, this was a great follow up movie to the first Ant Man, but I'm gonna have to throw it in C, just because to me the first Ant Man was way better than this one. And not saying it was miles ahead. It was just like I said, my opinion. I just think the first Ant Man way better than this one. And that being said, this it's tough because I'm gonna move some stuff around once we get further, but I'm thinking Ant Man is like middle bottom B or like real high up C. I'm not too sure. We're gonna we're gonna put it high C, okay? It's still great movie. Funny. Paul Rudd is amazing. I love him as our Ant Man. Scott Lang, love him. Not much to complain about with the first Ant Man. Just there's so many. There's so much content here that it's hard to just throw everything in A and B and be done with it. All right, Endgame, top of the A tier. Not S for me. The payoffs were, come on, dude. Like Endgame was cinematic masterpiece for sure. But it's more. My buddy Ryan had seen Endgame before he went through MCU, and the second time around, he ranked it really, really high. I think he gave it a 10 out of 10. He said he wasn't going to do it. He gave it a 10 out of 10. Understandably so, dude. Endgame pays off. Little jokes from all the way from Iron Man 1 and Cap 1 and the first Avengers movie. We even see a scene from the first Avengers movie. They go back to 2012 in New York when the aliens are attacking with Loki. This movie is just chef's kiss. Doesn't, for me personally, doesn't make the S tier. It could. It could very well just be my fifth in the S tier. But it's an A tier movie for me. It's amazing. Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, this movie was a good follow up Avengers movie. The intro scene is beautiful, beautifully worked. Shows all of our heroes working together. The villain, Ultron. Here's my thing: Ultron should have been so much better. I'd like to believe he's not fully gone, but then again, like they have so much to work with in the future that he's probably fully gone. But we saw what he could do and what if, you know what I mean? So he's great. We get the introduction of Vision. We get Wanda. Wanda's awesome. I'm gonna go B tier. I'm gonna go B tier for Age of Ultron for sure. Yep. Final decision. First Avengers movie. I'm gonna put it B tier as well, but higher B tier. If we're talking only phase one and two, Avengers is probably S tier with Winter Soldier. But there's so much content here that it's hard to just pinpoint all of them in A. The A tier would just keep going. And I'm such a geek when it comes to all this stuff. So I love this all. Don't take this the wrong way. If I put it in C or D, doesn't mean shit, dude, because I love this all and I the rewatchability for me, I could rewatch all these movies, okay? All of them. Moving on. Black Panther. What a film. What a film. I'm going to put it right in the middle of these two Avengers movies. B tier, could very well be A tier on a great day. You know what I mean? I love this movie. Visually stunning, story amazing. You feel for Killmonger. He's relatable. It's it, it's he's the backside of the coin to T'Challa. And what I mean by that is like they're like one and the same character. They just have different reasons for what they're doing. And they're cousins, you know? What a twist. Great movie. I cannot wait for the second one. I will be shedding tears left and right. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. I will still be shedding tears left and right during that movie, especially in the beginning, because I know they're gonna do. Oh, excuse. I know they're gonna do the funeral scene right in the beginning of that movie. Right in the beginning. Black Widow. All right. My thing with Black Widow, the time it was released was just I don't know what they're I don't know why they didn't make this movie way back when, you know? I understand that they made it now to give Natasha a great send off and also introduce us to Yelena Belova. But I just if this comes out in the correct order, this is like a BA movie, right? But the whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm like, she's dead. She's dead. Great movie, great action, great story. Villain was awesome. Dreykov was dope. Not necessarily Taskmaster. I don't mind that they did it with like a different character and it's his daughter and she's all like roboted up. But like Taskmaster in the comics and everywhere else, he's such a good villain, dude, because he can learn the moves of anybody and just replicate them. Like you fight him in the Spider-Man game for the PS4 and he's hard. He copies all your moves. You know what I mean? Like that's his whole stick. You know. But every time I see this, I'm like, damn, dude, this is gonna have to go C for me. Lower than Ant Man and the Wasp, I believe. Listen, I believe it's lower than Ant Man and the Wasp. Still a fantastic movie. C is like a 7 out of 10, and D is like a 6 out of 10 and lower. But 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 10. Like I said, guys, this is my opinion. I would like to know your thoughts. So, like, if I put something and you disagree or you agree, let me know in the comments as soon as I do it. You know what I mean? Just interact, you know? Captain America Civil War, A tier, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. This movie was insane. We had our heroes fighting against each other. And that's when you know, like, I'm sitting there. I was Team Cap, by the way. Like, I believe what Cap was doing was correct. But it's so justifiable why Iron Man is acting the way he acts. In the previous Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, Wanda messes with his mind and she shows him the future because you got to remember she can do that stuff. She's got the Mind Stone abilities. She shows him a possible future where the aliens invade Earth and all our heroes die. And then Cap grabs Tony and he's like, "You could have saved us." And so this movie, when the issue presents itself that Wanda hurt somebody and Tony's scared, dude. Tony's scared, and he says it in Infinity War. This guy has been in my head since the attack on New York, and he's not lying. He's been thinking about this because you have to remember this. He brought the nuke through the wormhole, and he saw the ship. He saw that big ship sending all the little alien, not even little, but you know what I mean, sending all those like worm alien ships down to Earth through the wormhole. He witnessed it, so he knew what was coming. He even says it in Endgame. He's like, I had a dream about this, or I had a vision about this. I thought I was dreaming. Blah blah blah. Fantastic movie. Introduction to Black Panther. Introduction to Spider-Man. What more could you ask? Humor was on point. The fighting was great. It felt like straight out of a comic book when they were fighting each other in the scene. And yeah, it's not like the Civil War in the comics where it's like a million characters versus a million other characters. But they did what they can, and they're going to continue to do what they can. I bet you when Secret Wars comes out, it's not going to be like that either. But it'll be big. It'll be Endgame big, probably bigger. We will see. Moving on, guys. Captain America, First Avenger. I'm going to put it high C tier. Great World War II film. If you're ever looking for a good World War II film that's not like super realistic or accurate, like this is it. Like as a movie overall, this is like an 8 out of 10, you know what I mean? As an intro to Cap, 8 out of 10. I'm still putting it in C. I know that makes no sense because I said 7. This is like a 7 out of 10, but there's just so many movies, guys. I'm just not even going to be able to keep up. Captain Marvel, I'm leaving it there. It could literally go here or here or here or here. My thing with Captain Marvel is just like, I don't know. I love Brie Larson. I love her character. Like I love the character of Captain Marvel. It's just to me the best part of that movie is Sam Jackson and the introduction of the Skrulls. I mean, I love her arc, learning that she's independent and she can do it all herself. I just, I don't know. I could do with or without that. You know, it's whatever. It's whatever. My opinion. Don't hate me for it. Daredevil, dude. If you have not seen this series, they now have it on Disney Plus. It used to be a Netflix series, and they now have it on Disney Plus. But this show is a banger. This show is a banger. I'm gonna put it right over Age of Ultron, but behind Black Panther. This show is incredible. Introduces us to the Punisher, Kingpin, Matt Murdock, Foggy Nelson. Great duo between the two actors. Charlie Cox. I don't remember the other guy's name. Karen's great. She's not annoying or anything. They got a good trio going on. Absolutely, like it's a darker show, but if you've not seen this, this is me telling you face to face to camera, face cam. Go watch that, please. Do yourself a favor. You will enjoy. It is gruesome. It's violent. It's dark, but it is so good. Story is so good, so good. Okay, Deadpool 2, Deadpool 1. It's going like this because Deadpool 1 is so amazing. It such a good origin story. So funny, so funny. Deadpool 2 is also so funny. It's like right behind. So like I'm gonna leave Deadpool at the bottom of the A tier, and Deadpool 2 top of the B tier. I mean, we'll see because like there's so much more to go still, but there's not much more I can say. TJ told me to rank Deadpool 2 higher because of Zazie Beats over here, Domino, because she's honestly great. She's great. Her superpower is great. Luck's not a superpower. No, it isn't. She's, honestly, it's I love that. I love that movie. I just rewatched them not too long ago. All right, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, dude. I've been saying this is a top 5 movie for me, and I don't know if I want to put it over Endgame. I kind of do because every time I rewatch it, I like it even more. But now that I'm here looking at it, it just doesn't seem right if I put it over Endgame. I don't know. These two can swap on any given day. Lately, I've been leaning more towards Doctor Strange, but like looking back on it, now that we're doing this like live action, I'm gonna have to leave Endgame there. But Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness, I know a lot of people either loved it or hated it. I thought it was absolutely amazing. If you didn't watch WandaVision, this movie probably made little to no sense, or not necessarily little to no sense, but you had no connection to Wanda and why she was doing what she was doing. But if you watched WandaVision, if you enjoyed WandaVision, you definitely enjoyed this. Unless you're like a Wanda stan who was like, "Why is she the villain now?" And it's like, dude, did you see the end credit scene in WandaVision? Like she was messing around with the Darkhold. Like that's just a given. It's gonna happen. You know what I mean? It corrupts anybody. Love this movie. Love it. Every time I watch it, I like it more. They flex on Doctor Strange with his magic. The visuals are great. Sam Raimi did a great job. Props to him. I hope he comes back for another Doctor Strange. At minimum, another Doctor Strange. All right, moving on. First Doctor Strange. This is gonna go B tier. I think I'm gonna put it bottom of B right now. Great movie. Great origin story. It sucks because like he's arrogant, he's cocky, but like he was also the best surgeon, so I get it. But great origin story. The mystic Tony Stark, some might say. Doesn't bother me. Fantastic. Eternals, a movie that just gets better every time I see this movie. I don't understand why it got hate. They nearly did the impossible. They brought a bunch of heroes? Question mark. They're kind of villains, but they're heroes because they turned to heroes. They didn't know what was going on. They bring all these characters together in like a team up sort of movie, like an Avengers type movie, without anybody knowing any of these characters prior, unless you read the comics or anything. Listen, I didn't. I barely read any comics. I know a lot of the stories. I've read some, but like definitely not Eternals. A lot of the ones that I've read are Spider-Man or Fantastic Four, you know? So this was incredible to me. I am not going to rank it like A, might be bottom B, might be high C. I think I'm going to put it high C. I might move it after. High C, get some juice in you. Great movie. Plot twist is crazy, but if you every time you watch it back, you start to notice things a little more about like how Rob Stark over there, Icarus, is gonna turn on everyone. You kind of see it, but like you don't. It's hard to explain. You'll know what I mean if you've rewatched this movie. If you've only seen it once and you didn't like it, do me a favor, go watch it again. Let me know what you think after. Leave it in the comments or something, or DM me on YouTube if you can do that, or Twitter, or Instagram, something. Find me. Let me know what you thought. I loved Eternals. I'm only putting it C because, like I keep saying, there's still some. I still have 2 full rows to go. The whole okay, not 2 full rows. I got a row and a half to go still. There's just too much to deal with to put everything in A tier. Falcon and Winter Soldier. Action was awesome. I know that they had to change the plot of this series because this was filmed before COVID happened, and the plot of the show was going to be an epidemic of some sort or a pandemic of some sort. And that's why in episode I think it's episode 1, Bucky, when he gets in the back of the truck when they're chasing because they think there's a hostage, and he gets in the back of the truck, he says that they're carrying vaccines. And the reason being was because there was going to be it was the plot was going to be something to do with a virus. And they were like, we got to change this. Hits way too close to home. Other than that, the mini villains, the flag smashers, they were all right. I could do without them. It was whatever. John Walker was a good addition. Don't like him as a character, but like that means that Wyatt Russell is performing exceptionally well. We're gonna see him again as U.S. agent, probably in the Thunderbolts, maybe sooner. We will see. I'm going to also put this C tier. I think a high C tier. Like, oh gosh, I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna put it there. Also, I'm totally for Sam being Captain America and his outfit at the end of that show. That thing is beautiful. I can't wait to see him again in that. But you know, Marvel, they'll probably change it again. Guardians. Is this Guardians 2? This is Guardians 2. B tier, A tier, nah, B tier for sure. B tier. We're gonna do something like nope. We're gonna do something like this. Great movie, great story. Twist of his father not being a good guy, but I mean, you could see that coming. Another Russell, back to back. We got Kurt Russell in Guardians 2. We got Wyatt Russell in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm actually gonna move it above Ant Man. Just keep seeing it. I'm like, nah. It might even go above Cap. It's not gonna go above Eternals, but it might go above Cap. Anyways, Guardians 2, great movie. Really like hits home. We get a new Guardian in Mantis, and Nebula. Nebula has a turnaround. It's a good like feel good team family type film. Love that, but not as good as the first one. Excuse me, not as good as the first one. The first one was great because just like the Eternals, it did it better because less heroes, less heroes, more time for them to all interact together. In the sense that a team nobody really knew. I only knew from playing. I think it was like Marvel Lego Avengers or something like that. It was like Marvel Lego superheroes on the 360 way back in the day when it like it came with like two other games, or it was Xbox uh Gold Pass something. It was a free game, and they were like one of the last teams you unlocked, and I was like, who are these guys? And then like a couple years later they come out with the movie. I remember I didn't see this movie in theaters. One day I just went out from home. I left and I went and I bought this movie, and I came home and we watched it, my family and I, and we loved it. It was just so amazing. It's such a great film. It's such a feel good film. Soundtrack, forgot to say that for Guardians 2. Soundtrack for both of these. Are you serious? You know? Are you serious? Such a great, gosh, guys, such a great MCU is just a great franchise. Moving on. Hawkeye. Hawkeye. Kate Bishop is guy, bro. Hawkeye was great. It wasn't anything spectacular. I love the addition of Haley Steinfeld Bay as Kate Bishop. I love the show. I love what Hawkeye did for me was it gave more feeling towards Clint Barton, if that makes any sense. Like we got to actually care for Clint, and I always did, but he is like he's one of the most useless Avengers, but he's not useless, if that makes any sense. Like in Age of Ultron, he basically steals the show. He's hilarious. I got a bow and arrow. We're being attacked by robots, and the city is flying. None of this makes sense. He's great. I love him. I love Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, and I really hope he returns for Hawkeye season 2 or like in another movie, something down the line, something down the line. Now, Hulk, I'm gonna put it down here in D, and kind of because it's like Edward Norton, and nothing wrong with him. It's just like hard to watch this movie knowing that Mark Ruffalo takes over the role in the very next time we see the Hulk. But I remember seeing this movie when we had Blockbuster and we were renting movies. My parents rented it, and then I remember seeing Tony in the end credit scene talking to General Ross. Also, rest in peace, William Hurt. Very sad. We're losing a lot of good actors, guys. It's tough. A lot of good people. Um, I'm just gonna put it there because like I haven't had the urge to go back and rewatch it. And maybe when I do my next MCU tier list after Phase 4 or whatever, or Phase 5, who knows? I'll change it, after I watch it. But for right now, I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm just gonna leave it there. Iron Man 1. Iron Man 1. It's gonna be something like this for me. It's going A. This movie is this movie started it all. Just when Robert Downey Jr. was down and out, they just did it. He did it. He Robert Downey did the impossible. He was down and out at the time, and they were just like, "We want you, John Favreau. What a guy! Happy, what a guy! I can't believe he did that. He birthed that, and then he birthed the Mandalorian. So John Favreau basically started the MCU, and he also revived Star Wars. Not saying Star Wars was bad, because I love Star Wars. Love it. Whatever comes out at the time is my favorite, whether it's a MCU or Star Wars. It bounces back and forth. It's whatever in the moment. But also apologies because I didn't have my mic set up right here. It was like further away, so like the audio might be a little tough in the beginning of the video, but you can hear me. I was checking it. It's all good. Anyways, moving on. Iron Man 2. I want my bird. It's gonna go C tier. I think I'm gonna put it right here. Good villain. Good story. Tony thinks he's dying. Well, he is till he finds the solution. And then he finds the solution. There's not much to say about that movie. You can go watch it. I personally like this one a little better. Iron Man 3. I think I'm going to put it right above Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah, Iron Man 3 was great. Story was great. It's just no Iron Man 1. It's just not Iron Man 1. It's not. Okay, here we go. My favorite series so far that has come out. Loki. I'm ecstatic we're getting a season 2. I was ecstatic watching this week to week. It was it was brilliantly done. Like a lot of people who didn't who felt I've talked to people and they've said they felt underwhelmed with how it ended or how it happened, like the everything that happened. Listen, if you're like me and you were paying attention back in early 2020 or late 2019, I don't remember when they announced Phase 3 slate. They announced all these shows and stuff, but they had originally said Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium cast Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror. And when we were watching Loki week to week, it was during the first year of the pandemic. I believe it came out in 2020, so towards the end. Could have came out early 2021. I can't remember. Let me know down below. But the internet was very active when it came to these shows, and I just remember everyone theorizing, who's it going to be? Is it another variant of Loki at the end of time? Like, is it Mephisto? We'll save that for WandaVision. It like everyone was just like, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? The second that elevator opened and I saw Jonathan Majors, I lost my freaking mind, dude. I lost my mind because that just meant we were setting up bigger things for the future. And now a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, they announced Kang Dynasty coming in 2025, Avengers Kang Dynasty. And like I knew Kang was going to be a prominent figure going forward, but wow, I love this show. I can't wait for season 2. I hope it lives up to season 1, you know. I hope it's even better. And I hope Loki finds his way back because I have a feeling so we got Loki in Ragnarok and his character arc was like fully it, he completed his character arc and he was a good guy at that point, let's say. And he was doing what was right. And then he dies at the beginning of Infinity War. And it's sad. And yeah, he's died before and he's come back. Loki's a great example of that. But that's past Loki who tried to take over New York and they kicked his ass, you know? So he when he sits with Owen Wilson's Mobius and great character, great chemistry between the two, between Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson. Loved it. When he sits there and he learns of how his future is supposed to go, he basically catches up on his character arc. You know what I mean? He realizes through the show, like he realizes, you know what, like Mobius even tells him when he's in that little time loop with Lady Sif, he's like, you can be whoever you want, even good if you want. And I love that because that's what he wants now. He even shows up at the end of the show and he's like, we need to prepare for war, blah 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 blah. Even though he's in a different timeline. I Loki's probably my favorite Marvel character, MCU character, I should say, because Marvel it's definitely Spider-Man, but just absolutely love that show. Moon Knight. Moon Knight. Might be something like this. Might be something like this. I love Moon Knight. I knew little about him going into the show. And the whole time, every week, I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen? My only complaint is maybe, like, I loved the last episode, the finale, but I just feel like we should have seen Jake Lockley do his thing. And it's great that they showed him at the end credit scene and that apparently, as of like yesterday or so, a video broke the internet with Oscar Isaac and the director of this. They were in Cairo and they were like, "Are we getting a Moon Knight season 2?" And Oscar Isaac was like, "Why else would we be in Cairo?" And it's like, "Oh shit." So hopefully we do get a season 2. I loved it. I love Steven's hilarious. Mark Spector's great. He's a badass and Jake Lockley's going to be so good to see in season 2. Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel was fantastic. I loved it a lot. And some people just didn't like it. They were like, "Oh, it's a teen show, blah blah blah." Dude, we got she's our first mutant in the MCU, okay? She's one of these guys. Where are they? She's one of these guys, okay? Not necessarily going to be an X-Men, but she's a mutant. And that's huge. That is so huge going forward because that just means they're creeping in and we're going to start getting mutants planted here and there and everywhere, just like seeds. Moving on. Shang-Chi in the Legend of the Ten Rings. This movie is amazing. Action, amazing. Like crazy good. Story, crazy good. Origin story, unbelievable. Villain, Wenwu, the Mandarin, the real Mandarin, crazy. The fact that we got to see Trevor Slattery from Iron Man 3, the fake Mandarin, just the payoff, amazing. Love this movie. Please go rewatch this movie if you've only seen it once and you're like, iffy about it. I promise you, it's visually stunning and the action is insane. I love that movie. I will continue to love that movie. One of my favorite origin stories. As you can tell, the that's like the it's the first movie here. It's with Iron Man for me and Deadpool and Guardians in terms of like origin movies. You know? It's just so good. It's so good. But to me, you know? All right, here we go. My favorite. This is tough because having years gone by and rewatched both of these multiple times. When it first came out, I was putting Far From Home. I would have put Far From Home probably like high B, low A, you know? And then Homecoming, I would have put right behind it. But what I think I'm going to do is Far From Home B, that Mysterio scene where he makes him trip and he doesn't know what's real, straight out of the comics. I even remember there was I don't remember if it was Spider-Man 2 for the PS2 or another Spider-Man game, but there's like a scene just like that where Mysterio makes Spider-Man not know what's real and like he's got to use his spider sense to figure it out. And it's just they did it so well. They did it so well. Jake Gyllenhaal was a great actor because me knowing Mysterio, I'm going into this movie. They're promoting I remember they were promoting the movie like Mysterio was going to be a good guy. And I remember going into this movie saying, if it turns out that Mysterio is actually a good guy, I will be pissed because I know how Mysterio is. And they did it so well. They made it seem like he was a good guy. They made it seem like he was a good guy, you know? And then classic Mysterio, everything was an illusion, everything was for show. And it was just, I love that so much. But Michael Keaton's Vulture is like, what a villain. The scene when they're in the car at the lights, and then after when he tells his daughter to go inside, Liz, when he tells her to go inside and he sits there with Peter and he's like, "Does she know?" He's like, "No, what?" Fantastic acting from Tom Holland and Michael Keaton. Just absolutely lovely movie. I will watch it again and again and again. Now, I was going to do a review for Thor: The Dark World, and then I said, or I mean, I'm sorry, for Thor: Love and Thunder, and then I said I'm gonna just talk about it when I do the tier list, and I'm gonna try and make this quick. Okay? I went and I saw this movie twice. Saw it first with my friends, Rye, Noel, and T, and Cam, and Trav was there. Shout out Trav. I saw this with them, and I remember the movie finished, and I said 7.5. And then I slept on it, and I thought about it, and I dropped it down to like a 7 because the beginning part of this movie feels very forced in terms of humor. It feels almost as if there's not much direction with it. But then the second they get to Omnipotent City and on, I loved it. I loved the movie. The, like the dynamic between Thor and Jane, great. Jane's arc, great. Very sad with her whole cancer and she's dying and this, that, and the other thing. And it's very comic accurate with every time she picks up the hammer, it like restarts the recession and like she's just not well. Every time she puts it down, she's even worse because she's using her like life force to be Thor, the mighty Thor. This is gonna go in C for me, guys. I just don't know where. I think I'm gonna do something like this. I think I'm gonna do that right there. The second time I went to see it, it was better. I went with my mom. She's a super geek like me when it comes to this, so we enjoyed it. She enjoyed it too, but she agreed that like some of the humor just felt forced in the beginning. Felt like the Guardians were great. I just felt like it was a wasted time to have them there and then just send them off and like Yeah, you got to move shit forward. I understand. It's not a Guardians movie. It's a Thor movie. Valkyrie was great. Korg was a little over the top sometimes, but what are you gonna do? Now, my buddy Jack, from work, he sent me a theory that the whole movie is told through Korg's perspective. And knowing that, like, if you have not seen this movie and you plan on watching this, knowing that it makes the movie better because you understand why it's a little goofy at times. Because if it's Korg telling the story, which he narrates the beginning, the middle, and the end, so it almost makes sense that it's him telling the story of this movie. And it also makes it make more sense that it's a little goofy here and there. So, no complaints, honestly. It's not a bad movie, not at all. It's not Thor Ragnarok. And coming after Thor Ragnarok, it's like you expect it to be better than Thor Ragnarok, especially because Taika Waititi returned, this, that, and the other thing. Christian Bale, fantastic job. Loved the villain. He was intimidating when he had the kids in the cage. Like, that shit's scary. If I'm a kid, I'm terrified. Like, if I'm a kid in the theater, I'm terrified of him. He was scary. Moving on. The first Thor, thinking high C, more high C. I don't know. It's going somewhere around here. I think I'll put it right there. Great movie. Different tone. They were starting out, It's a great movie. Loki's great. Makes me feel for Loki there. Thor the Dark World. Moving on, moving on, moving on. Thor the Dark World. You guys know. You guys know. This movie, it's really not that bad. It's just like something's got to, like, we got to make room at D, you know? we, we just got it. All right. Now, we're on our last three movies, no? I'm not going to do any of the X-Men or any of the shows. And I'm not doing Morbius. Forget about it. But these last three, let's do WandaVision first. WandaVision has got to go A tier. Absolutely has to go A tier. I think it's gonna go like here. The Listen, if you weren't watching this week to week and on Twitter or just the internet in general, everyone blew up over this show because nobody knew what was going on. Everyone's like, "How is Vision alive? Why is this a sitcom? What's going on?" And like, it just elevated every single week. Finale was just, it was great. Could have been better, but it was great. Doctor Strange was supposed to be in it, but because of COVID reasons, they couldn't film his part in it, or they had to cut it, or something because they never finished. Whatever, wouldn't have made a difference to me. It's still A tier. It is still A tier. All right, last two movies. Venom. Let's do the first Venom. First Venom's gonna go probably high B. Love Tom Hardy as Venom. Love the dynamic that he has with Venom. It's like a second person talking to him the whole time. Well, it is. It's not like it is. Love that movie. Venom Let There Be Carnage. You know, disappointment comes to mind when I think about this. I really enjoyed this movie, but like definitely disappointment comes to mind because I don't know, man. Like when you have Carnage in a movie, this shit better be rated R because Carnage, like, if you go look in the dictionary what Carnage means, like that's not what happened in the movie. And if you've watched if you've watched the cartoon shows or like played video games or read comics about Carnage, Carnage is main reason I'm disappointed. Sorry to jump around everywhere. Main reason I'm disappointed. Carnage is my favorite Marvel villain in terms of comics and shows and movies and all that. He is my favorite. And what they did to him there, I was like, dog. They didn't even tease that a piece of him was left behind. They didn't. Cletus Cassidy's dead. This movie was basically a filler movie to set up the fact that he was going to be in No Way Home. And then guess what? He wasn't even in No Way Home. He was in an end credit scene and then he dipped. And so this was a setup to a setup. That's literally what this movie was. It was a setup to a setup because they set this up so that he's in the end credit scene in No Way Home. And that was just a setup for him to leave the little Venom symbiote behind. Listen, I like the movie. Woody Harrelson, great job as Cletus, but it's just not it for me, you know? I'm gonna take a quick peek at all of this again and maybe make a change or two. These are staying. This is looking good. Okay. So this looks good. Good, 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 good. I don't know if I should drop this, but it is a very, very good movie. I'm gonna leave it. Iron Man's good. Deadpool's good. WandaVision. I might. Nah, nah. We'll leave it. WandaVision. Yup. Homecoming. Yup. Guardians. Miss Marvel. Okay. I might move Miss Marvel down to B. Let's do that. Put it behind. I don't know. Yeah, put it behind Moon Knight because I'd rather watch Moon Knight again than watch Miss Marvel, but still a great movie. Um, I don't know what this is doing here. I should have put it like further down. Yeah, this is looking like it's it, guys. I might here do some of this, do some of this, do some of that. Okay, this is it. I'm not touching it anymore, guys. This is my tier rank for MCU. Please let me know if you agree, if you disagree, down in the comments. Let me know if you would move maybe one or two things. Let me know if you would move everything. If you want, make your own tier list, send it to me. Maybe I'll react to it, maybe I'll review it. Everybody's got different opinions, guys, and I know everybody's tier list would look different and everybody's top movies and worst movies would look different. And like I said before, these in the D tier are still good movies. They're just when you have so much content like this, something's got to go down there, right? Something has to go down there. And just for ha-has, we're putting Logan A tier. Just for ha-has. Okay. Other than that, I'm not touching anything else down here. Morbius. Jared Leto. Okay. Real quick. Last thing. Jared Leto did great. You can't blame him. He did great. I like him as Morbius. If we can somehow steal him, put him in the MCU as Morbius, down for it. All right, but in terms of the movie, you know. All right, guys. Well, this is it. This is it. This is it, dude. I hope you guys enjoyed this because this was a good fun time. Sorry it might be a little longer of a video, but had to share my thoughts here and there about everything. I hope you guys enjoy it all. Let me know what you guys think. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, hit the sub button, hit the notification bell. We should be doing The Boys episode 3 this weekend. Yeah, I got to get The Boys season 1 done before She-Hulk comes out because then She-Hulk comes out and then Andor comes out and then I have no time for anything cuz Andor 3 episodes first day. Are you serious? I mean, I'm excited, but like I got to react to all that right away. Damn. All right, guys. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend, wonderful week, wonderful day. Stay blessed. And thank you for taking your time. Leave me some comments. Leave me your thoughts. Everyone have a good one, guys. Diliano out.